Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My dear students, the topics of medical negligence and medical ethics have already been covered. Today, we'll discuss few important SEQs from these topics. First SEQ is, what is negligence? What is medical negligence? And list types of negligence. What is negligence? What is negligence in general sense? Any citizen can be adjudged guilty of negligence, and for this there are certain requirements. Legally speaking, there are certain requirements. That person must owe a duty to another person. He must have committed a breach in that duty, and because of breach in that duty, the other person must have suffered some damage. If these three ingredients are there, we can say that the person is negligent in performing his duty. These general principles can be translated in terms of medical negligence. So what is medical negligence? For medical negligence, the doctor, while treating his patient, he must owe duty towards the patient, and while providing him treatment, he causes breach in that duty, and because of breach in that duty, the damage to the health of the patient occurs or his death occurs. If such is the situation, we say that medical negligence has been committed by the doctor. The patient is entitled to claim damages in such situation for physical injury, for pain, for mental suffering, and also for future loss of earning capacity. So that is why the damages claimed by the patient are usually enormous. They claim damages in billions of rupees, considering all these factors. Once again, what is medical negligence? Medical negligence means breach of the duty owed by a doctor to his patient in exercising reasonable care or skill, resulting in some bodily, mental, or financial disability to the patient. So breach in the duty by the doctor while providing him treatment. He is unable to exercise his skill with reasonable care. And if such is the situation, and this situation results in physical, mental, or financial damage to the patient, it means he has committed medical negligence. What are types of medical negligence? Medical negligence can be of four types: civil negligence, criminal medical negligence, contributory medical negligence, and third party medical negligence. So this is answer to the first SEQ. At times you can have note on term res ipsa loquitur. What is res ipsa loquitur? These are Latin words. It means things speak for themselves. For example, a surgeon who performs laparotomy operation on a patient, and during that operation he forgets instruments like scalpel or scissors inside the abdomen. Now this here doctrine of res ipsa loquitur is applied because things are speaking for themselves. The scissors and scalpel, they are not part of abdominal cavity, and there is very little doubt that these have been left by the surgeon. So these are speaking loudly that they have been left here by the surgeon. It is the mistake of the surgeon. Now what is the effect on the case if the case is taken to the court of law by the patient when this doctrine is applied? Usually in cases of medical negligence, it is the responsibility of the patient. Onus is on the patient to prove that the doctor was negligent. But when doctrine of res ipsa loquitur is applied by the court in a particular case, burden of proof shifts from the patient to the doctor. Now the doctor has to prove that he was not negligent while providing treatment to the patient. So doctrine of res ipsa loquitur means things speak for themselves, and its legal importance is that when it is applied, the burden of proof shifts from the patient to the doctor. Next SEQ can be briefly describe types of medical negligence and what is scope of medical negligence. Medical negligence can be of four types: civil, criminal, contributory, and third party medical negligence. What is civil medical negligence, which is also called malpraxis? It is failure to apply reasonable degree of skill and care by the medical practitioner while treating his patient, resulting into some damage to the health of the patient. Example is injudicious use of drugs of addiction which lead to the patient to become addicted to that drug. Injudicious use of antibiotics causing harm to the health of the patient. Another example can be failure to advise X-ray while there was a fracture. So, missing the fracture by failure to advise X-ray resulting into malunited healed fractures is also an example of civil type of medical negligence. Such cases are dealt with in civil courts. Next type is criminal medical negligence. When a doctor, while treating his patient, behaves in a reckless and wicked manner, showing complete disregard for the safety of the patient's life, and it may result into death of the patient. It means criminal medical negligence has been committed. So criminal medical negligence has got mainly two ingredients. Number one, behavior of the doctor. If the behavior of the doctor is wicked and he shows complete disregard for the safety of the patient's life, but no damage occurs to the health of the patient, that means criminal negligence has not been committed. But if such behavior leads to death of the patient or massive damage to the health of the patient, that means offense of criminal negligence has been committed by the doctor, and such cases are dealt with in criminal courts. Examples are, for example, an anesthetist who gives drugs to the patient, and he gives excessive nitrous oxide, which may cause addiction, and the anesthetist himself is addicted to that compound. So while providing anesthesia to the patient, he gives overdose to the patient because he himself is enjoying that gas, being addicted to that. And if this leads to death of the patient, it means he has committed criminal medical negligence just to satisfy his own desire. He gives excessive dose of anesthetic agent to the patient. Next example, a surgeon while operating on a patient comes out of the operation theatre after opening the abdomen and claims from the relatives to increase his fee because some more complications have come up during the operation. And if during this time death of the patient occurs, it means surgeon showed complete disregard to the life, to the safety of the patient. So this means criminal medical negligence is committed. Third type is contributory medical negligence. In this type, doctor as well as patient both contribute towards negligence. If some negligent act on the part of the doctor results in the initiation of some disability, but the patient either refuses to carry out recommended treatment for this or actively aggravates the condition, that means he has also contributed for the damage. So, doctor and patient both are responsible, both are contributing towards the damage to the health of the patient. If such is the situation, it is labeled as contributory medical negligence. In this case, if the case is taken to the court, less compensation is given to the patient than what he deserves. Fourth type is third party medical negligence. This is negligence committed by the nursing staff or paramedical staff. This is called third party medical negligence. If this occurs, the responsibility is of the in charge of the hospital, medical superintendent of the hospital, who has employed these staff members who have committed negligence leading to damage to the health of the patient. This is third party medical negligence. What is the scope of medical negligence? We are going to have new techniques, new inventions, and doctors will always take time to become expert in that, to become skillful in operating those procedures. Similarly, doctors, being human, can commit mistakes, and paramedical staff can make mistakes, and at times the patient himself contributes in damage to his health. So the scope of medical negligence will always remain there. But whenever a case of medical negligence comes up, it must be investigated thoroughly and responsibility must be fixed, and whosoever is responsible for this, he must be punished. So scope of medical negligence will always remain there. Now, SEQ from ethics of medical practice. The topic we have already covered. What are medical ethics? Write note on medical ethics. Medical ethics are described as code of behavior accepted voluntarily within the profession, as opposed to statutes and regulations imposed by official legislation, meaning thereby medical ethics have got nothing to do with law, nothing to do with rules, and nothing to do with regulations. It is accepted voluntarily within the profession. Some people think medical ethics and infamous conduct are synonymous terms, but it is not true, although there is some overlapping. Much of medical ethics consists of good manners, graceful, civilized behavior in general sense. but there are certain matters which are peculiar to the practice of the profession of medicine. For example, euthanasia, easy death, mercy killing. For example, ethical issues involved while doing research on human beings. So these are the examples which are peculiar to the profession of to the medical profession. International Code of Medical Ethics, Hippocratic Oath, you can study it yourself. In this, it has been mentioned what actions and what type of behavior an ethical doctor should follow and what acts he should not do. So you can study it yourself. At times you can get note on privileged communication, privileged occasions. What is privileged communication? Well, it is ethical duty of the doctor to maintain professional secrecy when he is treating a patient. Whatever secrets of the patient he comes to know while taking history, while examination, and while providing treatment, while going through the investigations, he has to keep it up to himself only. This is his ethical responsibility. But at times, he has to disclose this information to certain authorities. So, privileged communication is described as information received by a doctor from patient and then it is passed on. This is disclosed to the authorities under some circumstances, following some rules or obeying the court. So whatever secrets of the patient he has come to know, under certain circumstances, under exceptional cases, he can pass on this information to certain authorities, for example the court, or to the authorities which qualify to receive this information. This is called privileged communication. Privileged communication can be of two types: absolute privileged communication and qualified privileged communication. Absolute privileged communication applies to any statement made in a parliament or in the court of law. And if doctor has to disclose secrets of the patient in the parliament on the order of the parliament or on the order of the court, he cannot be held responsible legally for this. He is exempted from any legal action. Second type is qualified privilege. In this, information of secrets of the patient can be passed on to the authorities which qualify to receive this. For example, while passing on the information of infectious notifiable diseases to the health authorities, suppose a general practitioner treats 6 cases of measles in one day. He must notify to the local health authorities, to the district health authorities, so that those authorities should take measures to prevent spread of this disease. to other children. So in the interest of the society in large, this information has to be passed on to the district health authorities. But the doctor must follow some rules. Statement must not be malicious. There should not be any bad intention involved. It must be made to those who have the duty to receive it or those who are authorized to receive it. It cannot be passed on to everybody. So this much about privileged communication. Can ethics be taught in a classroom or auditorium? Well, we can discuss medical ethics in the classroom, we can deliberate on this, but we cannot teach you medical ethics in a classroom. Medical ethics, doctor learns in his practical life while dealing with the patients under trying situations. So we have covered important SEQs from the topics of medical negligence and medical ethics. We stop here. Thank you very much.